Good afternoon and welcome back. I'm Bill Addiss, and this is part of our continuing YouTube series on various timely capital market topics as an educational tool for you. And today's topic, building off the prior session we did, talking about the structure of the Fed, how people don't understand the Fed, the fact that it's a corporation and it's for profit, but it creates and destroys money. That was the prior module we did. In this one, we want to talk about a subset of the Fed, which is actually the most important in terms of the marketplace. It's a committee of the Fed called the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee. This is where the power is in terms of the Fed affecting the marketplace. You know, one of the things that always bothers me is every 8 weeks, this FOMC committee meets and they set the rate policies here for the US. And it always drives me crazy. Every night when that happens, the talking heads on TV, the financial press, will say the Fed did this or the Fed did that. And I just want to throw something at the TV. Because the Fed didn't do anything. It's this committee of the Fed called the FOMC. This is a committee of 12 people that set monetary policy here in the United States. And I would make you the argument these are 12 of the most powerful people in the world. So let's talk about how the Fed operates. And by the way, most other central banks in the world operate on a very similar method. So every 8 weeks, this rate setting committee gets together and they set interest rates and monetary policy here for the US. Now, of these 12 people that make up this committee, there are two separate constituents to this committee. The first is, in our prior session, we talked about, we actually have 12 Federal Reserves here in the United States. Common misconception, we don't have one Fed, we have 12. 12 separate and distinct Federal Reserve banks. And each Federal Reserve bank elects a president. So we have 12 regional presidents. Now, on a rotating basis, we take 5 of those 12 presidents and we put them on this committee. Now, there's another constituency put on this committee called the Board of Governors. Now, this is where we do get some politics to the process. Remember, we talked about the Fed is not a part of the government. That's true. But in the creation of this rate-setting committee, the President of the United States appoints 7 members onto this committee. So now we've got a committee of 12, 5 of the regional presidents and 7 of the Board of Governors appointed by the President. Now, it's important to note, though, that when the President appoints somebody onto this committee, they serve a 14-year term. The idea here is no one president is stacking the deck. So we've got these 12 people deciding where interest rates will go here in the US. Now, the President of the United States also appoints the chairperson of this committee. And the chairperson is taken from one of those 12 Board of Governors. You know, some of you remember that Janet Yellen had been a Board of Governor member, that she got promoted to become the chairperson. And when President Trump was elected, he didn't want her as the chairperson, and he put in Chairman Powell. Now, Powell is getting reappointed for his second 4-year term, because when you're appointed to chairperson, you actually get the opportunity to serve a 4-year tenure, some people say sentence, and then you could potentially be reappointed by the president or not, as was the case with Janet Yellen. So the chairperson is also appointed by the president. And these 12 people have made the decision to meet every 8 weeks. In the first week of May, we just had a meeting of this FOMC committee where they made the decision to raise short-term interest rates, the Fed funds rate, and they also made the decision to finally, after years, start doing quantitative tapering. So in the next module, we're going to talk about how this committee operates. What are the tools they use? What is the Fed funds rate? What does quantitative easing mean? Let's get into some of the details in the next video. For this session, though, what I also want to leave you with is the reality that for the last couple of years, we haven't had a full committee. Because what happened is when President Trump was elected and he fired Janet Yellen as the chairperson, she resigned as a Board of Governor member, making a vacancy. On top of that, 2 other members of the committee decided they didn't want to work in a Trump administration, and those openings have been there for the last 4 years. So the truth is, we haven't had a 12-person committee in a long time. Maybe President Biden will put that on his to-do list, so we'll see. But it's been basically a 10-person committee. So in the next module, we're going to get the devil in the details. What does it mean when the Fed is raising rates? What rates are they raising or lowering? What is this quantitative easing all about? And I'll give you a little bit of a tease. Quantitative Tapering simply means the Fed is going to start destroying money. And that's what our Fed is going to start doing. We'll get into that in our next module. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you again.